Hello, my name is Tony Monisse. I'm a director of Brentnalls WA, and today I'm going to talk to you about why most businesses fail at the execution of strategy. In previous videos, I've talked about how to develop a good strategy. Today is why they don't execute. There's three things that a business needs to do, I believe, if it's to execute strategy successfully. I'll talk about those three things. The first thing is a business needs to be very clear on its organisation structure and its key roles. So it needs to understand who's running the business, who's in charge of sales, operations, finance. Not only does it need to understand who's in charge, but what are the 3 to 5 key functions that role entails. It really is about getting the right people in the right seats. I think often when we see organisation structures failing, they're failing for one of 3 reasons. Either the person in that seat isn't capable, maybe they're not committed, maybe they're not aligned to the organisation's values, or they don't have the capacity. Often it's that they don't have the capacity. So I think when a business is evaluating its organisation structure, it needs to look at, first of all, what is the organisation structure and do the key people in those boxes tick off those 3 things. If it doesn't get that right, often organisations are wasting, there's a lot of waste happening in business, there's stuff falling between the cracks, or people just don't have the capability or the capacity to execute, so the business stalls. We had a situation recently with a client that we were working through a strategy for their business, and it was a multiple owner business, but they were all sitting in all the seats. And so working through a process of understanding their strengths and weaknesses, we were able to agree who should operate in what seats. And then on the back of that, they were able to successfully execute their strategy. The second reason why strategy fails is that if you don't measure it, it's going to be really hard to manage it. And so it's really about developing a scorecard that is relevant, that's accurate, and that's timely. Most businesses have all sorts of reporting. They have, they're reporting information that really doesn't make a lot of difference in terms of running the business and managing the business. So what's really important is, again, and I've done this in previous videos, is to understand your business model. So for example, in this case, just a very simple business model, number of leads times conversions percentage equals new customers, times the average sale equals sales revenue, times a gross profit percentage equals gross profit, etc. So we can continue that on. So what's really important here is that once we understand what the drivers of revenue and profit are, we need to take those drivers and convert it into a scorecard. Often I see lots of scorecards that have got lots of information that really don't contribute to the business model. And I think the challenge most businesses suffer today is information overload, information fatigue. People looking at too much information and they don't know what is the most important information to do. So it's really important to get a scorecard. Otherwise, very difficult for business to execute. And again, we've had situations where we were again presented with a monthly report for one business, 150 pages of graphs, reporting. I, as a finance person, looked at it and had no idea what to focus on. As a result of that, we were able to distill it down to 10 to 15 key measures. And really, you don't really want any more than 10 to 15 key measures. So we've talked about get the right organisation structure in place, the right people in the right seats, get a scorecard. That scorecard needs to be weekly. We need to be tracking the key drivers in the business weekly. Monthly is too late. Best practices weekly. The third thing is we've got to get a meeting cycle. I see so many businesses that don't have meeting cycles. The senior leadership team do not meet frequently enough. And often it's sporadic. They're too busy. They're working in the business. They're not working on the business. So it's really important that all businesses protect some time where the senior leadership team can meet weekly. What's also really important there is to get an accurate agenda. Make sure you're talking about the big things. Are you dealing with the issues in the business? Often the issues are the blockages to execute strategy. So it's really important that those issues are tabled and dealt with in those meetings. Is there an update on the strategy? Is it on track? Are the key actions, are the key initiatives on track? And then what are the key actions that the business needs to do in the next week to deal with issues and make sure the strategy keeps on track? So just to summarise, again, it's so important that get the org structure right, get the scorecard right, driven off the business model, and make sure you've got a regular meeting cycle with your senior leadership team. Thank you.